Hey YouTube, Shinobi here with a review of the S.H.Figuarts Kazoku Sentai Gokaiger Gokai Christmas. Yep. So this is a Toei Hero Net release for December 2012, celebrating Christmas and Gokaiger and all that fun stuff. So Gokai Christmas is a form that Guy uses in the Christmas episode of Gokaiger by borrowing Marvelous and Don's Ranger Keys, using his super combiney wishful power, and turning them into this, Gokai Christmas. So it is basically half Marvelous and half Don in suit form, right down to the head sculpt. So it kind of looks like he's kind of got like a raised eyebrow sort of thing, because one visor is a little bit bigger than the other visor. So I think that's actually kind of cool. But yeah, so you got red on this side, green on this side, fairly split right down the middle. The suit's line detailings warranted this, so it was kind of easy to stay in the lines and be even. Very cool, actually, and you have proper joints. I think that's probably the biggest thing to note right here, is that you have a red joint and a green joint. You don't have black joints, you don't have two red joints, you don't have two green joints. They're exactly how they're supposed to be. The box is the most delicious thing I've ever seen. Like, I seriously feel like you could eat it or just unwrap it or something like that. Gokai X'mas, because it's less religious. And you got the red and the green stripes, and it looks like a big present. I just think that's really neat. Gokai X'mas and all that fun stuff. We're doing this pose. I'm sorry, but we're doing this pose. Very, very, like I said, delicious box. I don't know. It reminds me of like candy, and I think that makes me happy. So very cool. This is just the basic Gokaiger mold. Nothing really new to it at all. In fact, there's nothing new to it at all, period. Articulation-wise, you have the same full rotation there, hindered a little bit by the shoulder, I don't know, cloth, I guess. Joints are tight. I mean, they're not super-duper tight, but you can wiggle them around, and he really isn't going too much of anywhere. I mean, it's one of the better Sentai molds. I would say it's probably the second best, Jetman's mold being the first. Gokaiger's probably the second, I would say. Very cool. And like I said, I just really like this head sculpt. They did the double-sided thing very well, while still kind of connecting it, I guess you could say. So it looks really strange, but I really do like it quite a bit. So you got the double joint at the elbow and at the knee here, rotation there up at the thigh, and plastic ball joint for the foot, but that's fine. It's a lightweight figure, it doesn't really need the die-cast feet. So very cool figure overall. I just really like the way that it turned out. I was skeptical at first, and I was actually kind of angry because this one-shot little form gets a figure, and some things like Hibiki doesn't have one yet, but it was a Toei Hero Net exclusive, so what can you say? In terms of accessories, we have the Gokai Gun. That does open up. The Gokai Saber. That does move as well. The replacement Gokai Cylinders, for those that have the Ranger Keys in them. They are just the silver blank ones, but those are there. The Ranger Key for Gokai Christmas, in folded up and non-folded up forms. The folded up one can plug into various things like the Gokai Galleon, the Gokai Darians, those things. And then you have a pointy epic hand that we're going to use, and then you have Gokai Gun holding hands, Gokai Saber holding hands, Ranger Key and Mobirat holding hands, even though he doesn't come with a Mobirat to hold. He still has that hand from the other Gokaiger releases. And then a kind of just relaxed hand, one of which we're going to have to use for our pose. So pretty typical Gokaiger hand layout for this guy. So nothing, like I said, nothing too crazy. It's just a simplified, combined form of red and green. Kind of Kamen Rider Double-ish going on in here. Bam. As short as this is for a review of mine, there really isn't anything else to go over. If you're a fan of Gokaiger and you really liked the Gokai Christmas aspect, then by all means pick up the figure. The Gokai mold is a great one, so there really isn't any flaws with the figure. The red and green combination worked actually perfectly. They got the color joints. There is no bleeding on either side. Helmet's split straight down the middle. So I have to give props. They actually pulled it off very well, and I was kind of afraid. But great mold, great paint and detailing. Everything's pretty much spot on perfect. So it all comes down to how bad you want Gokai Christmas. It is pretty cheap on the aftermarket because it's kind of an oddball release that not too many people want. So when he does pop up, you can usually get him for a pretty decent price. Anything I think $3,500 and lower is a pretty decent price for this. So like I said, it all comes down to how much you want Gokai Christmas, but I certainly don't see any flaws with the figure, and I really do like it. It's a fun, kind of crazy release that we seem to be getting nowadays. So pretty neat. You can check out Shuriken.com for latest updates on my reviews and hauls, and of course check out Riders, Rangers, and Rebels, a podcast bringing the latest token news in the craziest way possible. And you can buy Figuarts and more Super Sentai merchandise at CStoysJapan.com. So take care and have a great one. Bye.